Hello students and welcome back to your channel. This is the third part of the Rise of the Nationalism in Europe MCQ for class 10th. I hope you have enjoyed the previous part which I have published. The first question for this is, what was the result of the activities and campaigns held at the Jacobin clubs? Options are, they brought about crime and destruction. They prepared the way for the French armies to move to different countries, or they brought about unrest in the society, or there was immediate peace. तो जो भी एक्टिविटी होती थी जैकोबिन क्लब से, उससे क्या हुआ, जो फ्रेंच आर्मी थी वो अलग अलग कंट्रीज में उनको जाने का रास्ता बन गया. सो आंसर इज prepared the way for the French armies to move to different countries. What mission did the revolutionaries declare as the destiny to the French people? To make a one nation state, to become sovereign, to become democracy, or to liberate the peoples of Europe from despotism, to help other people of Europe to become nations. I think we have done similar MCQ in part 1. What is despotism? So despotism जो होता है वो यही था. That was the mission of the revolutionaries, to liberate the people of Europe from despotism and to help other people from Europe to become nations. When did the Treaty of Vienna take place and who were the participants? Options are 1817, 1815, 1820 या 1816. And participants Russia, Prussia, Austria, Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, or Britain and Russia, or Britain, Russia and Prussia. And students, I think you should remember this. The Treaty of Vienna took place in 1815. So if you have multiple options or multiple choice questions, just remembering the year will also help. So we know it happened in 1815, and we also know Britain, Russia, Prussia and Austria were the participants. What was the purpose of the Jacobin clubs? To socialize among different races, to hold activities and campaigns to speak against France, or to demoralize the people. So students, the Jacobin clubs were formed to hold activities and campaigns. What idea did the French armies carry abroad through the revolutionary wars? Violence and bloodshed, nationalism, despotism, or war strategies? So students, we know the French armies through their revolutionary wars, they carried abroad the idea of nationalism. What happened when the news of the events in France reached the different cities of Europe? There was a tumult, there was confusion and dissatisfaction in the air. The people did not know how to react, or student and other members, educated middle class, began setting up Jacobin clubs. So we know that is how Jacobin clubs came into action and force. So when the news of the events of France reached the different cities of Europe, students and other members of educated middle class began setting up Jacobin clubs. What is liberalism? Liberty to the upper classes. Liberalism derives from the Latin root liber, meaning free, freedom for the individual, and equality of all before the law, equal rules for all, or end of autocracy. So I think you may have guessed already. This is the answer. Liberalism derives from the Latin word liber, meaning free, freedom for the individual and equality of all before the law. What was the new name of the Estates General? States Assembly, People's Assembly, National Assembly, or Federal Assembly? And students, the new name of the Estates General was the National Assembly. What type of rule was carried out in France during Napoleon's time? Federal rule, monarchy, democracy, or republic? So students, when during Napoleon time in France, we know it was more of a monarchical rule which was carried out. So the answer is monarchy. When did industrialization take place in France and parts of the German states? In 19th century, mid 18th century, later of the 18th century, or 18th century? And students, the correct answer for this is during the 19th century, industrialization took place in France and parts of German states. What type of conservative regimes were set up in 1815 in Europe? Democratic, aristocratic, dictatorial, or autocratic? So we know the answer for this also. The type of conservative regimes that were set up in 1815 in Europe were autocratic. What happened to Poland at the end of 18th century? Correct answer is one of them. Let's see. Poland was partitioned at the end of the 18th century, which is true, by three great powers, Russia, Prussia and Austria. Or Poland became the part of East Germany? No. Poland came totally under the control of Russia and became part of Russia? No. So Poland achieved independence at the end of 18th century. That is also not correct. So correct answer is Poland was partitioned at the end of the 18th century by three great powers, Russia, Prussia and Austria. What does la patrie mean? The country, the fatherland, the motherland, or the citizen? Students, we will refer the book also. If you see the ideas of the la patrie, that is the fatherland, and les citoyens is the citizen. So if these MCQ come, remember la patrie is the fatherland. So the correct answer is the fatherland. What was the civil code also known as Code of Justice, the Napoleonic Code, the Administrative Code, or the National Code? That's an easy one. We know the Civil Code of 1804, also known as Napoleonic Code. What does a blindfolded woman carrying a pair of weighing scales symbolize? Peace, justice, liberty और equality? तो स्टूडेंट्स ये तो बड़ा इजी होगा, आपको पता है हमारे भी यहाँ पे जब भी कोई पिक्चर आप देखते हैं, जब भी आप कोट दिखाते हैं तो एक मूर्ति दिखाते हैं जिसकी आंखों में पट्टी बंधी होती है और हाथ में तराजू होता है जो कि वेइंग स्केल है. तो दैट इज द सिंबलाइजिंग जस्टिस. कानून अंधा होता है, आपने सुना ही होगा. सो सिमिलरली इट इज जस्टिस आंसर. When did the French Revolution start or started? 1879, 1780, 1789 or 1769? And students, the correct answer is the French Revolution started in 1789. When Prussia took on the leadership of the movement for national unification, who was the chief architect of the movement? तो इसमें है ऑप्शंस कैसर विलियम वन, गिउसेppe मज़ीनी, मेटरनिच और Otto von Bismarck. And this is also very easy. We know Otto von Bismarck took on the leadership of the movement for national unification, and also he was the chief architect of the movement. So answer is Otto von Bismarck. What helped in the formation of a nation state in Britain? The formation of a nation state in Britain was the result of a sudden upheaval. In 1688, the monarchy in Britain had seized the power from English Parliament, or the Parliament through a bloodless revolution seized power from the monarchy, which gradually led to the emergence of a nation state. The British nation was formed as a result of a war with Scotland and Wales. So students, we know the Parliament through a bloodless revolution seized power from the monarchy, which gradually led to the emergence of a nation state in Britain. That's the correct answer. What is suffrage? Right to complain, right to vote, right to property, or right to justice? So students, suffrage means right to vote. What was the political situation in France at the time when this happened? Absolute monarchy, republic, democracy, or sovereign state? So we know, we have discussed it in number of MCQs. At that time, France was total monarchy type of political situation. So answer is absolute monarchy. What was the main intention behind Treaty of Vienna of 1815. To restore republics, to restore democracies, or to restore monarchies, or none of these? Students, the main intention behind the Treaty of Vienna of 1815 was to restore monarchies, which was overthrown by the Napoleon. So the correct answer is to restore monarchies. And students, this brings to the last question of this MCQ. And this is the part 3. I will be publishing the part 4 very soon. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, subscribe and share to my channel. That will keep me motivated. So the last question is, what emphasized the notion of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution? La patrie, the fatherland, and la citoyen, the citizen. Idea of one nation state, French people in common, or French flag. So students, we will refer the book again. The ideas of la patrie, the fatherland, and la citoyen, the citizen, emphasized the notion of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution. So we know the answer. The emphasis was la patrie, the fatherland, and les citoyens.